Before discussing EDH and STH, I want to tell you some important points related to anatomy. So see first the coverings of brain, means what are the layers of meninges. Okay, so if you see the layers of meninges, you can see the outermost is dura. So there is dura, then there is arachnoid, and then there is pia. Clear? So between skull and brain there is a pad. Can you see? There is a pad. Innermost is pia, then there is arachnoid, and then there is dura. So these are the layers of meninges. It's very easy to understand. See, suppose this is the skull, and in the skull, this is for your understanding, and in the skull, this is the brain, right? If there is collection of blood between skull and dura, so if there is collection of blood between skull and dura, this is known as extradural. And if there is collection of blood between dura and arachnoid, this is subdural, right? So see how it looks like. So this is extradural, also known as EDH, extradural hematoma. And you can see this one, this is the subdural. Clear? So why this extradural hematoma is of red color and this subdural hematoma, this is of blue color? Because EDH is arterial and STH is venous. So for better understanding, see this diagram. See, there is the weakest point of skull, and that is known as pterion. And pterion is located in which bone? It is located in the temporal bone. So sometimes even a trivial trauma leads to the fracture of this weakest point. And beneath pterion, there is one artery which is located. Which one? Middle meningeal artery. So trivial trauma of pterion can lead to injury of middle meningeal artery, and because of this injury there is bleeding, and this blood is collected between skull and dura. Since the blood is collected beneath skull and dura, between skull and dura, here the dura is peeled off. Another important point related to EDH, that it is not going to cross the suture line. Now what is STH? So here you can see that there is skull fracture, right? And because of that there is injury to middle meningeal artery, and you can see that dura is peeled off. So this is dura which is peeled off, and there is collection of blood. What kind of? Arterial blood. So this is extradural or epidural hematoma. Epidural hematoma doesn't cross the suture line. It doesn't cross. Now see the subdural hematoma. Generally in subdural hematoma, head injury is more severe. So here there is significant trauma. Because of this significant trauma, what is the problem? There is injury to the cortical veins or imagery veins. So bridging veins or cortical veins. So whenever there is injury to bridging vein or cortical veins, what happens? There is collection of venous blood. And this venous blood is collected between dura and arachnoid. Can you see? So this is dura and this is arachnoid. Clear? So here dura is intact, but STH is going to cross the suture line. It is going to cross the suture line. Now see another landmark. This is the pterion, and generally it is located in which bone? It's a part of temporal bone. But if you notice this point, pterion, here there is convergence of sutures of which bone? Can you see here? There is convergence of sutures of frontal bone, parietal bone, temporal bone, and here sphenoid bone. Can you see? This is the middle meningeal artery, right? This is the posterior division and this is anterior division. So generally this anterior division is in close proximity of the pterion. Okay, so let's discuss the differences. EDH and STH. Okay, so extradural hematoma. So here collection of blood between skull and dura. And since collection of blood is there between skull and dura, so here dura is peeled off. Dura is peeled off and it doesn't cross suture line. Doesn't cross suture line. Simple. STH, subdural hematoma. So here there is collection of blood between dura and arachnoid. Simple. And that's why here the dura is intact. Dura is intact, but it crosses suture line. Crosses suture line. Okay. Now see the trauma. In EDH, there is trivial trauma, even trivial trauma, non-significant trauma, over which point the weakest point of skull, and that is pterion. It's the part of which bone? It's the part of temporal bone. Temporal bone. So injury or fracture of pterion can lead to injury to middle meningeal artery, and because of this middle meningeal artery injury, there is collection of arterial blood. So this occurs in EDH. Now what happens in EDH? Lucid interval is positive. What is lucid interval? This question was asked many times. So there is a short period of consciousness between two episodes of unconsciousness. So in this case, important point here, lucid interval, it's positive. Now see the STH. Further definitions are asked, that what is acute STH, what is subacute STH, and what is chronic STH. So see the definition. Acute STH. Okay. So whenever the duration is less than 3 days. What is subacute STH? So here the duration is 4 to 21 days. And what is the chronic STH? This is the question which is asked. So whenever the duration is more than 21 days, and sometimes they ask in weeks. Clear? So chronic STH, when the duration of STH is more than 21 days or it's more than 3 weeks. Now this STH is more common in elderly. Okay, so see the problem. STH, this is more common in elderly, and here it is caused by significant trauma. So because of this significant trauma, this is the question which you have to remember. There is injury to which vein? Cortical veins or bridging veins. Means what kind of blood is collected? Here there is venous blood which is collected. So here dura is intact and it is going to cross the suture line. Okay. Now how we are going to make the diagnosis? Investigation of choice for diagnosis is NCCT. So we go for NCCT head. Now on NCCT head, what you can see in the first picture here, you can see that there is hyperdense lesion, and can you see what is the shape? It is biconvex or lenticular shaped. Clear? And if you see the second one, can you see here, this is concavo-convex hyperdense lesion. So here there is concavo-convex hyperdense lesion, right? Now how we are going to manage the EDH and STH? In EDH, since there is collection of blood, we have to drain it. So how we can drain? We can create burr hole. So by creating or making burr hole, we can drain it, and sometimes we need craniotomy. In cases of STH, if small STH is there, we can manage it conservatively. But if large STH is there, it has to be drained by craniotomy. Okay. Once in AIIMS, this question was asked that there is a patient of head injury who fell unconscious, and you have to create a burr hole because you suspect that there is some kind of hematoma. So where you are going to create the burr hole, right? Generally, the burr hole should be created close to the pterion. On which side? On the side of hematoma. So if a patient is having hematoma and NCCT is available, so you know on which side hematoma is there. So very close to pterion, you are supposed to create a burr hole. So we discussed the relation of pterion. So you can see again what is the location of this pterion. It is located at convergence of frontal, parietal, temporal and sphenoid bone sutures, right? So here we are going to create the burr hole. Sometimes NCCT is not available, right? And on the basis of suspicion only, you have to create the burr hole. So how you are going to create the burr hole? Look for the pupils. So the side on which pupil is dilated, if CT is not available, you will create the burr hole close to the pterion. Okay. So how we create the burr hole? Two important principles. So first, burr hole should be created on the side of hematoma. On the side of hematoma. And where exactly? Close to pterion. Close to pterion. Simple. And if CT facility is not available, NCCT is not available, then it should be performed close to Pterion on which side? On the side of dilated pupil. So on the side of dilated pupil. Simple.